Okay. The 5 steps in the 5-step decision making process are identifying the problem, searching information, evaluating alternatives, making the decision, and implementing the decision and evaluating results. So, there are many reasons as to why the first step in the 5-step decision making model is the most important step. And one of them being is because the of identifying the problem is the foundation of the whole process. It's like solving a math problem but not knowing the equation that you're going to solve. You're basically getting an F on the whole test. So, um, identifying the problem is the foundation of the whole process because we are understanding what the problem is, and the problem is revealed to us, and we are able to understand what the problem is and what exactly needs to be solved. It's also important because we are able to accurately identify what the problem is, and it can pinpoint us to what solution needs to be thought of in order to solve the problem. And going along with this is also with decision makers, it helps cause better communication and collaboration between decision makers. So being able to accurately identify what the problem is at hand, we are able to pinpoint what type of solution needs to be given in order to solve this problem. With decision makers, there could be better collaboration and communication as decision makers are able to share their thoughts, opinions, feelings, and insights with other individuals, and they can all come to an agreed solution to properly solve the problem at hand. Satisficing is when decision makers come to a decision that is good enough rather than coming to an appropriate solution. With satisficing, there are many scenarios that this is okay or that it is appropriate for, but there are other work scenarios that satisficing is not appropriate for the work occupation or scenario. It also has to deal with the context of the job issue or scenario, and what exactly is at stake, in order to decide if satisficing is appropriate for creating or for making a decision. So some job scenarios that satisficing is appropriate or okay for definitely would have to be a restaurant. I work as a host on weekends, and it does get very busy. So I've personally, I'm a lead host, so I make the decisions in the front on how the seating arrangements should go, and satisficing does definitely come into play in the restaurant environment because we are trying to accommodate all the guests, and we want to make sure all the guests have a good experience at the restaurant. So even if, say, we have to call one reservation, tell them that their table's going to be like 10 minutes late, just so we can have this other party go before them, it's not what we want to do, and it's not an appropriate solution just so we can have this table come in and eat without a reservation. But it's good enough in order for them to have a good experience at the restaurant and not have to wait, but also so the other reservation after them can still have their good experience. They would just have to wait a little bit. But obviously, would be a scenario like, making the reservation wait for another hour. That is not good. So that is when satisficing would not be a good um, path to take on making a decision. So that would definitely have to be with time constraint. Time constraint that satisficing would be an appropriate way to go for making a decision. Another scenario would be, again with the restaurants, a chef doing inventory and say their specific vendor is out of stock of the product that they're looking for. It isn't what that product and vendor is is exactly what they're looking for, but say the product is urgent, most likely the chef is going to go ahead and look for another vendor to give them a low supply while the other vendor restocks on the product that they're looking for. Is it what they wanted to do? No. But since the kitchen is low on the product that the chef is looking for, he's gonna find something that's good enough in order to get the night over with and cook the guest's food. And then another work scenario would be teachers. So this would go in hand with like the chef and inventory. When teachers buy supplies for their students, we'll say they're trying to buy highlighters and they want to get the 5-pack, and all that's available is a 3-pack. Is it that big of a deal? No, but they're gonna take the 3-pack instead because it's good enough. Their students might have to share as long as she or he has highlighters for the class. That's what's most important for the teacher. So now, work scenarios where home satisficing isn't an appropriate way to go for to making a decision is financial corporations, just because they do require a lot of strategic planning. So satisficing would not be appropriate for that. Another one would be scientific research facilities, because they do require a lot of analysis. So taking in a good enough path in order to make a decision is not appropriate, just because of the high importance of the job task in a scientific research facility. And another one would be where I work at. I work at a medical office, and I do a lot of data entry and like entering patients' medical records or medical history. And me, for example, say I'm entering a patient's prescriptions and I can't find one specific prescription because it's spelled wrong or something like that, and I decide to skip it. That is not the appropriate satisficing is not the appropriate path for me to take to making that decision, because this is involving a patient's health. But a better example is when doctors are giving the diagnosis to the patients, and say they're not looking at all the alternatives, not doing all these tests in order to fully grasp on what's going on with the patient's health, and instead just make a diagnosis like that. That's when satisficing is not appropriate, because it involves an individual's health, and it also because it just shows the lack of care for patients. Creativity is the ability to create ideas, create unique and original ideas. And innovation is interconnected with creativity, as it is basically having the ability to take those ideas, implement the ideas, and um, create an impact, create a solution. So, um, having or being a native um, without having creativity is something I don't find possible, or I don't think it's possible, because how are you able to come up with a solution if you haven't came up with an idea? It's like it just doesn't make sense. It's basically um you eating without the fork. Like, yes, you can use your hands, but like, you eating without the fork. Um, but on the other hand, I do think that it is possible to be creative, but not be innovative. Um, just because creativity comes in many forms, art, music, dance, and those are type of type of creativeness that is for personal growth and expression, but not really meant to make an impact. So I feel like it is possible to be creative without being innovative, but not possible to be innovative without being creative. Um, and now this is gonna bring us to the last question, which is hiring a candidate with creative experience, or hiring a candidate with creative potential. Now, for this, it definitely depends on the business, because for creative experience, I do think that more experienced or established businesses would look for creative experience candidates, because they're looking for ones that have already shown their creativeness, um, and just have experience of, being creative, creating ideas, making decisions, creating solutions. But that would only, I feel like, businesses that have been established for a long time and have, gained much years of experience, in the business um, path or career, would be looking for more experienced, creative experienced candidates. Now, for creative potential, this will definitely be for startup businesses or um, entrepreneur entrepreneur businesses, because you want, one, you're open to people that have the potential of being creative, and also because um, you're looking for individuals that are ready to take risks, that think outside the box, that come up with solutions that, like alternatives. If this solution doesn't work, they have another one in case that doesn't work. You're looking for someone that doesn't stay in the box. That basically, thinks of many solutions, and you know can help a business grow because of the different solutions, ideas, or whatever it is that can help, impact the business. Personally, me, even if I was an established business or a starting business, I would look for the ones or candidates that have creative potential. One, because I want to let individuals have a chance of showing their creativeness, you know, creating ideas, creating solutions, making decisions. Um, even if it's, you know, I wouldn't be looking for um, bad ones, but with life and with, you know, business, there's trial and error. So I feel like everyone should have a chance at that. And also because I want diversity. I want, you know, to be able to hear different perspectives, different ideas, different thoughts, feelings, and opinions. Um, even if I was an established, you know, successful business, um, in which I hope for the future. But yeah, I would definitely look more into um, creative potential candidates.